You can order the lower control arms used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Turn your engine off and set the parking brake. Loosen the stud bolts on the front wheels. Lift the front of your vehicle. To be able to replace the lower control arms on your vehicle, you need to remove the wheels to gain complete access to the suspension system. Place the vehicle on the jack stands. We strongly suggest watching our video on how to jack your Honda Civic safely before carrying out this step. In order to remove the lower control arm, you need to position the jack stands not on the lower control arm bushing retaining bolt, but rather on the subframe bolt. Don't forget to put the wheels under the vehicle. Turn the disc outwards. This will facilitate the following steps. The components to be removed are very often seized up, so don't hesitate to brush and to use penetrating oil to make removal easier. Now you need to remove the sway bar end link. The end link connects the sway bar to the lower control arms to keep the wheels firmly on the ground at all times. Using a 15mm wrench, a ratchet, and a 5mm Allen socket, unscrew the upper ball joint nut. Keep the ball joint from rotating using the Allen socket and unscrew the nut with the wrench. Finish unscrewing by hand. Repeat the operation on the lower ball joint. You can now remove the link. Hey, it's Alex from CarParts.com. If you enjoy this video and want to support us, like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, back to work. Using a flathead screwdriver, remove the pin from the castle nut of the lower ball joint. Brush the nut of the lower ball joint and spray it with penetrating oil. Unscrew the nut using a 19mm wrench. You can now separate the lower ball joint from the wheel knuckle. Brush the control arm front retaining bolt and spray it with penetrating oil. Then unscrew it using a ratchet and a 17mm socket. Using a ratchet and a 14mm socket, unscrew the rear retaining bolt. Then remove the bolt. Disengage the rear part of the control arm by prying it with the crowbar. You can now remove the lower control arm by lifting it to allow the sway bar to pass through. Brush and grease the control arm area to facilitate its installation. You can order the control arms used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Take the control arm. Next, put the control arm in place by reinserting the two bushings into their slots. Make sure it is pushed in as far as it will go. If you want to know which parts and tools we use in this video, just check the description and you'll find everything you need. Put the rear retaining bolt back in place. Screw the bolt back in roughly by hand. Put the front retaining bolt back in place. And screw it back in with a ratchet until it makes contact. Do the same with the rear retaining bolt. Using a wire brush, brush the knuckle. Then apply silicone grease to the flat part that will be in contact with the rubber boot of the lower ball joint. Place the lower ball joint in the wheel knuckle. Loosely screw the nut back on to hold it together. Then, use a jack to lift the wheel knuckle in order to tighten the lower ball joint holding nut. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Take the cotter pin and fit it into the castle nut. Install it using a small mallet. In order not to damage the bushings, it is necessary to tighten the retaining bolts in the vehicle on the ground position. Tighten the bushings with a torque wrench. Remove the jack. Pass the sway bar through the lower control arm. You can now put the sway bar end link back in place. Start by screwing the nuts back on finger tight to hold the assembly together. Screw the nuts back on until they make contact using a ratchet and a 15mm socket. Use a 5mm Allen key to keep the ball joint from rotating. Tighten the nuts with a torque wrench. For great content, our best price, and fast shipping, download the CarParts.com app now. Then you will be able to put the wheels back on your vehicle. During this operation, you will be intervening on the front axle of your car, so it is advisable to perform a wheel alignment afterwards. Put your vehicle back on the ground before properly fixing the wheels in place. Operation complete.
Quality parts, priced right, CarParts.com.